bell next to the subscribe button. Very happy to see you here. We're going to talk about the power of misremembering today.
It's actually not showing up at all.
Oh, it's not showing up at all.
Yeah.
Now it's showing up. Very nice to see you all here. This is another picture of, I don't know why there's lines on it. We're going to give another one of these bad boys away today, Nate. And we have a winner from yesterday. Lately, we've been giving away an Amazon Echo when we do these live videos. Why? Because we love you. We love hanging out with you. We love that you subscribe. We love that you watch. Who's yesterday's winner, Nate? Chuck. Chuck and I go way back. Chuck, you watch a lot of these videos. Chuck, you're the winner of the Amazon Echo from yesterday. Just send me a message or an email, let me know your physical address, and we will Amazon Prime that bad boy right out to your front door. Now, we'll have another winner today. Say hello in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video as well. Let's get our little Charlie Brown guy, his little blue Charlie Brown shirt on. Let me ask you a question, Nate. I asked you this a minute ago before we blew up YouTube earlier today. Have you ever had a conversation with someone, maybe in a relationship, where the two of you, although you had experienced the same exact situation, you ended up with different memories of what actually happened?
Story of my life. Story
of your life, right, exactly. Sometimes you can be in a conversation with someone, even someone that you love, and you can have a completely different memory of a conversation. In fact, have you ever heard in a conversation, or maybe in an argument, I'm not saying anyone here has ever had an argument, have you ever had a conversation where the other person says, "I never said that"? It's a frustrating thing to hear, especially if you're quite certain that someone did, in fact, say that thing. Well, that's called misremembering, right? Where either you or the other person, Sad Sally or Peppy Peter or whoever these people are, have different memories of exactly the same situation. And each person feels that the other person is misremembering the situation. As a side note, and a very important note, my wife is writing a blog post on her blog about fighting effectively this Friday. You can get a link below to her blog at nikkibooker.com. She basically understands men better than anybody on the planet. Just a little plug for my wife. I'm sure you don't mind. Okay, so Peppy Peter and Salacious Sally, I don't know why, it's probably inappropriate, but anyway, they have different memories of exactly the same situation. And each of these individuals accuses the other of misremembering. Now, this is often viewed as a fault, or it's often viewed in the negative. And one thing that you know that I like to do is take some of these psychological concepts and then apply them to traders. And apply this concept of misremembering to you and I to help us become more effective traders so that we can become super rich, become evil geniuses, get our own island, fill it up with missiles, and then threaten the world in exchange for $1 million or whatever. No, just kidding. But we do want to become evil geniuses. How can misremembering help us out? So let's just say let's go back to our protagonists. In this story, it's absolutely true that both of them were there for the same situation. It's true that both of them have a completely different memory of that situation. And it's fair to say that one of them is upset about the way that the other one remembers it, and it's affecting their psychology. Now, Nate, if it affects the way that Ponderous Peter feels about the situation, is that going to change the way that he treats Serendipitous Sally? Absolutely. It's going to change the way that he treats her. His memory, even if it's a misremembering, even if it's not the correct memory, is going to affect the way he behaves. Can you think about how that applies to traders? Here's how it applies to traders. Here's what happens to most traders. I'm going to try to draw this as effectively as possible. This is what happens to most traders with their first trading account. Mushroom cloud, giant explosion. Most traders lose 90% of their money within about 90 days of having the trading account. And if you can survive longer than that, actually, you have a great chance of survival, sustainability, and eventual profitability. Most traders have initial losses. The first experience that we have as traders is euphoria. We have a little bit of beginner's luck. Excuse me, I have a cold today. A little bit of beginner's luck. And then we go live, and we might have a loss. And this is a damaging frustrating experience. Now, our memory of this experience will affect the way that we trade next time. For example, the next time that we trade, we may remove our stop loss. We might say, last time I had a stop loss, I had a bad experience. I'm going to remove the stop loss. We might place a stop loss. We may change our profit target. We may change our entire trading system. We may throw our computer out the window. We may do any number of things based on our memory of that situation. Now, what if you could misremember that situation? You might think, well, that's kind of dishonest. Well, for a minute here, come along with me back over here. To their deaths, when these two people go to their graves, one of them will not have arms. Peter doesn't have any arms. Wow, that's terrible. Let's just give him claws. So Peter's like, I did not grab the last chicken nugget. And she's like, you most certainly did. You grabbed it with your greedy little claws. He's like, I thought we never were going to talk about. I feel really self-conscious about these claws. Anyway, they have exactly the same experience, but they have different memories of it, and it affects the way they behave. Now, it's fair to say that they're entitled to their own memory of the situation. They're going to have it anyway. And they're going to go to their death. They're going to both write biographies about their lives, and they're both going to remember that situation in completely different ways. And it's going to be valid to each of them. What if you could turn the memory of a loss into something more effective than the memory of a loss? So I want to walk you through an exercise that will change the way you do it. Because what most people do is they remember the loss, they remember the emotion that went with the loss. It changes the way they behave. They change their trading behavior. They get off their system. They get out of their routine. And they end up complicating the problem. So I've done this before in the Neurolinguistic Programming for Traders class. But I'm going to walk you through this example right here. So here's Peter. Peter's newly single, still doesn't have any arms. And Peter has had a difficult trading loss. He's had a loss in his trading account. He has a pretty unfortunate memory about that. He feels like he's been burned. He feels like he's been scarred or deeply affected by that loss. So here's an exercise that Peter could do or you could do about that loss. What I want you to think about doing is I want you to, not necessarily if you're driving right now, but I want you to sit in a quiet place and I want you to take a seat. And I want you to close your eyes and imagine you're in a movie theater. And I want you to imagine that you're sitting in the movie theater and you're in the first person. So you are this person looking through your own eyes. So you are yourself looking through your own eyes. And on the screen in front of you, you are going to replay the movie that exists of you sitting at your computer taking that trade and having that experience. That first damaging experience as a trader that was frustrating and complicated. And as you watch that movie, I want you to turn that movie of your loss into a black and white movie. And I want you to watch that movie through your own eyes. And I want you to picture that on the screen where you're typing on the keyboard, you're watching the trade go against you, you walk away from the computer, you spend a couple days wishing that it hadn't happened, you don't tell other people in your family, and you come back to the computer and it's a big loss and maybe it's a margin call, and that black and white movie kind of fades out. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to go one step further. So we're going to push that out a little bit further in time, and we're going to put a balcony up here looking down on the rest of the movie theater. And now what I want you to do is I want you to sit in the movie theater, in the balcony. Now I want you, through your own eyes, to look at yourself in the movie theater, watching the movie. And I want this movie of this loss to get darker and darker and black and white and quieter until the reel explodes. You know, in the movie theaters where the reel catches on fire in the back room, and so the film and the gel's all kind of on fire and the movie screen comes down, and then it's all over, and then it closes out and the lights come back on. And just like earlier when the batteries went out and the lights went off and the broadcast went down, that went down, it's over. Now what I want you to do is from the balcony, watching yourself, I want you to put a new movie on the screen. So now you're going to be watching yourself, watching a movie about yourself, and it's going to be the story of that loss. But I want you to misremember it. Here's what I want you to remember now. And I know that this is, you could call this lying to yourself. I don't really care what you call it, as long as it's effective and as long as it helps you become a happier person. Remember, nobody's version of events was ever true anyway, and you didn't ever really remember anything accurately, as much as you'd like to think you did. Einstein said, or the theory of general relativity says, that essentially by observing anything, you're changing its behavior. I know that sounds insane, but it's very true that no matter what you think about how clearly you remember something or how accurately you remember something, your memories are infused with and damaged by the emotions that you attach to those memories. The only reason, in fact, you remember anything from your childhood is that it has some kind of emotion attached to it. The unemotional moments from the very early years of your life don't merit any memory because they're not emotional. And because they're emotional, because any memory, especially a memory of a trading loss, is emotional, it's not accurate. It's not actually what really happened. It's not actually going to matter if you change it up a little bit. In fact, it's going to matter if you change it up a little bit and if you misremember it. So let's play back this movie. Now the movie starts, and let's say the titles are crawling with Star Wars-style words coming across the screen, announcing that, although previous trading experiences have been difficult, Peter has set out on a new course. And boom, it cuts to a full-color version of you sitting at your computer in full color with a great soundtrack in the background, and it's bright. The movie screen is bright. You can see it vividly. And there's that loss sitting in Peter's trading account or in your trading account. And this is the actual memory that you have of being in that trade. And here's what you do. First thing you do is the most effective thing you could possibly have done in that moment with that trade. You make, retroactively, in your memory, the right decision. Now, it's just a movie. Now, I want you to make that bright and big, and I want you to see yourself watching it. What's the reaction on your face as you're making the right decision? Is it a look of confidence, peace of mind, satisfaction that you did the right thing, that you made the right choice? Now, after having made the right decision, maybe that was closing the trade. Maybe it was adding to the trade at the right spot and not missing that next trade you could have had, or not closing it down, or yes, closing it down. The next thing that you did was you took a next trade, and it's in full color. It's the correct direction. It follows your exact trading system exactly the way that you know you're supposed to do it. And the movie's playing and the music is amplified and the trade closes and it's a successful experience. The climax of the movie is hit. You have this look of satisfaction on your face. The version of you in the movie has a look of satisfaction on his face, and it closes out to the credits and you go, that was the greatest movie I ever watched. Now, that might be misremembering, but if you do that exercise 100 times, you're going to have a memory baked in with emotion to your mind of you making the right decision and then taking the next trade correctly and having that next trade become a win. Now, why would that be so important? Remember at the beginning when we said that because they view the event differently, Peter and Sally tie emotions to that event. And because they've tied emotions to that event in the way that they remember it, it changes the way they behave toward each other in the future. When you misremember a loss that you had and replay it in your mind as having made the right experience, made the right decision, and having a better experience, you have a different emotion tied to it, and you change the way that you behave the next time. Now, your account balance might be the same. We could talk about how you can think your way into more success financially. We could do that another time. But wait a minute. What you've just done is you've taken a situation that was negative, you've turned it around, you've tied a positive emotion to it, you've built a stronger connection to that event, you've seen things from a different point of view, which wasn't accurate anyway, you have a different emotion tied to that event, and your behavior is going to be different the next time. The greatest muscle that you can exercise is your brain. And the greatest function of your brain is to misremember things correctly and tie the right emotions to the right experiences so that your behavior changes in the future so that you're more successful. In other words, memories plus emotions change behavior. M plus E equals B. Your memories plus emotions about those memories changes your behavior. And if you can change your memory around a little bit, tie it to a different emotion, you're going to change your behavior in the future, and that can make you a way better trader, way faster than practicing with trend lines or looking at candle patterns or the Fibonacci spiral fan of death. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I always enjoy spending time together with you, and thank you, Peter, thank you, Sally, thank you, Nate, for letting me pick on you. Today we will pick a winner for an Amazon Echo. Leave a comment in the video below. Let me know what you thought. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with a friend, and be nice to people that have claws for hands. I love you all. Have the best day ever of all time, and we'll see you tomorrow.